Just me. Whoa, how scary was that? Okay. Well, it's not scary. Today is Monday. Welcome. We're all at home. Uh, this apparently is my home. Nah, not really. But anyway, so good to see everybody. Happy Monday. We've got 4 weeks left of school. All right. All right, so let's get to it. I'll screen share and give you an idea of what we're doing today. We'll go through the warm up. So as you can see, I'm here in my Schoology Core 1, 2, 3, or 4. Click on the green folder. This is consistent to all classes. So then I'm going to scroll down to today, Monday, May the 10th. Monday, May the 10th. There we go. So get in there. We have our terms for today. It's natural selection. And natural selection is the process where living things are are more likely to reproduce and pass on their traits to the next generation. Over time, this process allows organisms to adapt to their environment. You may have heard natural selection, but you probably heard of survival of the fittest, okay? Or only the strong survive. So video is really good, really interesting. I'm way into this kind of stuff. I used to teach genetics, not so much this natural selection, but I would kind of just link in anyway. So let me play the video for you. It's a good one.
Charles Darwin was a famous scientist in the 1800s. He was famous because he came up with an idea that changed the way we think about life on Earth forever. The theory of evolution. Darwin loved animals and studied them all of his life. In 1831, he went on an exciting voyage aboard the ship HMS Beagle. The Beagle visited the coast and islands of South America and Australia, where Darwin observed and collected a wide range of weird and wonderful plants and animals. When he got back to England, he analysed his collection closely. That was when his ideas about evolution started to form. Darwin had found around 15 different species of finch when he was on the Galapagos Islands. He noticed that the birds were similar to other finches in lots of ways, but their beaks were all different shapes. Darwin looked into it further. He realised that the different beaks matched the type of food available on each island. The finches who ate insects had skinny, pointed beaks, so they could pick them up better. And those that ate hard fruits had beaks that were sharp, so they could get through the skin. Darwin decided that there was only one way that this could have happened. The birds must have adapted to their environment over time. This led into another idea, which he called the survival of the fittest. In any environment, plants and animals from the same species show natural variation in their physical characteristics, such as neck length in giraffes. Darwin suggested that those plants and animals best suited to their environment are more likely to survive and pass on their characteristics to their offspring. Over a long period of time, the characteristics of the surviving members of the species will come to predominate. Confused? Take the peppered moth. In London in the early 1800s, 98% of peppered moths had light-coloured bodies. Only 2% were dark. The light moths were very happy because they were the same colour as the trees, which meant that they could easily hide from hungry birds. The dark-peppered moths were easy to see and, well, eat. Then came the factories and the smoke of the Industrial Revolution. Many trees turned black with soot, and suddenly it was the dark moths who were able to survive better in their environment. By 1895, the dark-peppered moths made up 95% of the population. That's quite a turnaround. The process of natural selection usually takes much longer, but this is a good example of how it works. What about us humans? Good question. Darwin went on to suggest that humans share a common ancestor with modern apes. This was controversial because it went against the religious beliefs of many people. Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection had a great impact on the world. Today, it is widely accepted as our best scientific explanation of how life on Earth works.
Very cool. I hope you like that. I'm fascinated by that kind of stuff, so I thought that was really interesting. I could talk about that for days, but let's move on. But make sure you write the definition for that term in your own words, which is all the way down here. So write your definition for that term in your own words. And if you guys are watching the video on your own, then you can just take a quick break right now and freeze. And we're back. Or we were back the whole time. But happy Monday. So we're talking about the electromagnetic spectrum. So we've been talking about waves and all these different things about it, the amplitude, the frequencies, the wavelengths. And as you can see on this diagram, there's something called the electromagnetic spectrum. So based on wavelengths, okay? Based on wavelengths and frequency, so we have this longer wavelength and the frequency is kind of low, the energy that's kind of given off by these waves, it tends to be a little bit lower, and as it kind of increases, so there's shorter wavelengths but higher frequency, there's a lot more energy. And we categorize these things, and they're all on the scale, this what they call the spectrum, the electromagnetic spectrum, sometimes abbreviated as the EM spectrum. So you might hear me or somebody refer to it as the EM spectrum. So we start all the way over on the left, and you guys can see here that there's things called radio waves, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And those are on the lower level of the spectrum, but obviously there's waves that transfer energy, to and from a radio and to our ears. There are things called microwaves, okay? And that's a type of radiation that we're starting to increase our frequency a little bit, okay? We're starting to make the wavelengths a little bit shorter. And then it becomes something called microwaves, okay? Which are used for various things, but of course they're showing an actual microwave. But a microwave does use this energy inside of it they are called microwaves, okay? That energy gets things warmer, right? So as we keep getting further off to the right, we have something called infrared rays. And infrared allows us to see things in a kind of a different way, different scale. And so we're increasing the frequency, wavelength starting to get shorter, as you can see with this red wave right here. We get right in the middle, we have something called visible light, which we'll talk about after we're done with the electromagnetic spectrum. And so you can see how that's reflecting and refracting through this prism right here. We get a little bit more intense. We have UV rays, ultraviolet rays. You can see that's kind of maybe some energy from the sun. Get more intense here. We have X-rays. Look, almost like see through something with the X-rays. That's how powerful that is. And our most powerful, okay, we do have here on Earth, but a lot of times you find them in the back, in different parts in space. And those would be gamma rays, okay, that are just really, really intense, okay. But they do have a purpose. All right, so what I want you guys to do is just don't forget to do the warm-up, which is that vocabulary phrase. Now, just to introduce you guys to the EM spectrum, which I kind of did, but there is a brain pop. I'll have the link here. I didn't do that yet, sorry. But it is assigned to you once you do log into Brain Pop. If you don't know how to log into Brain Pop, then there's going to be a video down below that explains, again, how to log into Brain Pop. There is a ed puzzle on the EM spectrum, okay? And then that's what I want you guys to accomplish today. If you guys do get done with stuff, then we do need, hopefully you guys get to the Asian Pacific Islander scientist, the Padlet. You guys can add to that. We're doing okay. I'd love to see more, but I like what we have so far. I think you guys are doing a good job, okay? If you don't know how to log into the Padlet and post, it's right here. And then what to do when you guys are done, the video's there. So let me get to the front page of Schoology and show you that off to the right here, okay, so here's the brain pop, I can't speak, here's the brain pop, which is the assignment, which I'll link in there as well. And then this is the tour of the EMS, the electromagnetic spectrum. There is your ed puzzle, okay, if you can't find that, please let me know. Okay, when you guys are done, remember there's some extra credit here, there's the Padlet, there is the assessment, which is due this Friday, so if you guys get done, do a few questions on that today. I mean, if you want to finish it today, you can as well, but just a few questions each day so you guys can finish that up for Friday. You get like 20 attempts at it or something, so it's kind of crazy. All right, well, that's it for today, and of course, I'm here to help you out. So have a great Monday. Enjoy your time at home, and be good. Do all your work. Have a great day. Have a lovely day.